Good evening, and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle since 2011. We've been doing this since the year 2011. First on Blog Talk Radio, then on YouTube at Sporlitiks. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the voice of reason. He's coming on late. Keith, the constitutional conservative. Stephen, the independent thinker. And my cousin Todd. We've got a packed show for you tonight as the Texas National Guard hit the streets of Chicago, where the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago are now suing the Trump administration over deployment of the National Guard in their city and state. The Supreme Court's conservative majority is prepared to rule against conversion therapy ban as they listen to the case today. Stephen, and NASCAR playoffs and the United States federal government is still shut down. Are you affected? There's no solution in sight. The NFL and takeaways from today's Attorney General Pam Bondi's contentious Senate hearing. Major League Baseball playoffs are going on now, same time as the NFL, and President Trump says some federal workers don't deserve back pay when the government returns to being open. Today is the anniversary, 2 years ago, since the horrific events of October 7th, 2023, when Hamas terrorists attacked Israel and killed 1,200 men, women, and children before they took 251 others into the Gaza Strip. There's still no hostage deal, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is facing possible collapse. Our thoughts and prayers are with that country. And more, if we can fit it in. First up, Stephen and NASCAR. And Stephen, I have a clip for you tonight. Let me share that clip, and then you can tell us what's going on with NASCAR.
Well, it's one of the biggest weekends in racing here in the Queen City. Roval weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and fans, they were packing the stands as NASCAR's best take on the twists and turns of that course. WCNC Charlotte's Danielle Stein is live at the track with all of the excitement from race day. Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Miles, there were two battles going on today. The first one, of course, the battle for the win, but the other one was the battle for positioning, as this was eliminating 4 drivers from playoff contention, going from that round of 12 into the round of 8. Now, coming into the weekend, just 2 drivers were already locked up to ensure they would be advancing, so there was a lot still at stake. Coming across first, though, not one of those playoff contenders. And of course, it's a Roval and in the road course king once again, Shane Van Gisbergen coming in first. We're going to take a look live from the winner's circle behind me right now to see his reaction to taking his 5th win of the season.
I got both sides up here. Both sides. Do not touch the race car.
All right, so SVG was in pretty much control a lot of this race. He won that first stage, ended up taking a little bit of a step back. Then he and Kyle Larson towards the end of the race were jousting, a lot of contact in the final 20 laps between those two. Ultimately, SVG coming clean ahead. He had this one in the bag by himself. But the other battle that was going on was the one between Ross Chastain and Joey Logano. Logano, of course, being the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion from last year in the playoffs. He was just above that cut line, Ross Chastain just below. If Chastain wanted to advance in this one, he would need to win by 4 points. He just missed that margin with a little bit of a contact when Denny Hamlin passed him in the end. So it's going to be Logano filling out that last spot in the NASCAR round of 8. Miles?
Thank you, Danielle. A lot of excitement there, it looks like, on this Sunday when it comes.
Well, it's like I've been saying this whole year. If you have a road course, Shane Van Gisbergen is going to win it. He's won 5. He's only won 5 races this year. Well, I say he's only won. He only races he's won is road courses. He's amazing. I've never seen anything like this in any type of racing in my life. That somebody could be so dominant. It's like the Tiger Woods of road courses. It's unbelievable. There was, in fact, you could bet him against the rest of the drivers. Every other driver against him, and that's just ridiculous. That's how good he is here. It is amazing, and it says a lot about the sport that right now the way they do the playoffs, that he's not in the playoffs right now, which he would be if we didn't. I know he'd be in contention to win the championship. There would be no playoffs, and Richard Petty has brought it up recently, and a few other. Richard Petty going back forever. He's champ. They call him the king. He's been around forever. If you don't know him, I think everybody knows him. But he said he wants to go back to the old West way we should do it, because this is kind of a drag. It makes everything kind of willy nilly. You don't know what's going to happen. There's some of the best. If you win 5 races, you should be close to the top for the year. Winning races should mean a lot. And stop all this complicated playoffs crap. Nobody wants it. We don't have. They're trying to compete with baseball and football and be something they're not. Just have the best driver for that entire year. Add everything up. The best driver wins the championship. That's the way it should be. And people would be more interested in that. This is a drag because you're like Ross Chastain. He didn't get in the top 8. He's 9th now. But if it was the old system, he would have a chance to win the championship this year. He could win a couple races and then win the championship, because points add up and races mean a lot. The way it used to be. This is just a bad attempt at trying to fix something that isn't broke. So instead of fixing it, they broke something that didn't need fixing. So hopefully they fix it and take it back to where it should be, and just have it the old way. And hopefully it comes back that way. But can't complain. They're going to Las Vegas this week. It's another cookie cutter, 1.5 mile, and it's the guys are in the top 4 or 5. They're very good at these tracks, so they're going to remain in the top 4. It's pretty predictable right now. Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, a few guys like that. It's going to be hard for them to be knocked out. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, there's 4 races left, and it's getting to the end, and I don't know who's going to win the championship. But a lot of my drivers don't even have a chance to compete. We'll see what happens next year.
Is Bubba Wallace in this?
No, he's not in it either. He didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so none of the favorites are in it. Like, I know you like, who's one of your favorites that you like that's pretty famous, who was winning a lot 2 years ago? Oh,
Kyle Larson.
yeah, Kyle Larson.
Yeah, he has a chance. William Byron, they have a good chance. Bell.
Okay.
A few people. Everyone that's in the top 8 right now are pretty much deserve to be in there. So who's going to make the next 4 when you got to eliminate 4? I don't know, but it's pretty close. The competition is pretty close, and now the rest of these races are cookie cutter, and we have cookie cutter drivers. So it's hard to say who's got the real advantage right now. There's nothing crazy coming up that's going to knock anybody out that can't do these tracks. So,
all right. So let me share our screen. It's Major League Baseball playoffs. It's in full swing. Let's see what they have to say.
All right, now to Major League Baseball with the Division Series all in full swing right now. ABC's Melissa Adonis here with the overnight highlights. Some big ones, Melissa. Good morning.
Good morning, Whit. So it is full swing indeed. Up for grabs, the American and the National League Division Series. So games are now best out of 5, and battling for the NLDS, the Dodgers and the Phillies. That was a tense game. Check it out. The Philadelphia Phillies starting out strong, shutting out the 2025 World Series champs for 5 innings. Citizens Park going wild for pitching for Christopher Sanchez, but we love Shohei Ohtani, right? The Los Angeles Dodgers gaining momentum in the 6th inning. Teoscar Hernandez hitting a 3-run home run. The Dodgers win 5-3. And the Milwaukee Brewers dominating the Chicago Cubs in their game one. The Cubs kicked it off with a home run, but the Brewers taking a strong lead in the first inning, scoring 6. Final score there, 9-3. For the ALDS, we had the Toronto Blue Jays demolishing the New York Yankees with a whopping 10-1. The Blue Jays with their first postseason win since 2016. And finally, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Seattle Mariners last night. The game going extra innings after Mariners' J-Rod tied the game 2-2. But it was the Tigers winning it 3-2 in the 11th inning. So the Mariners and Tigers are at it again for game 2 tonight. And look, so are the New York Yankees. While it was a rough game for the Yankees, tonight they have a chance at redemption. Ace pitcher Max Fried is expected on the mound.
Okay. I know, Stephen, you don't have a dog in the fight, but I do. The Philadelphia
Right.
So far, we are losing the series.
Right.
Dodgers. They are a tough team, and 2-0. Let me share my screen. We play them tomorrow and Thursday. It's going to be a really, really rough game. I hope we can at least take one game. Tomorrow, you see at 9:08 p.m. Phillies and Dodgers. LA leads 2-0, and game 4 is going to be Thursday, October 9th at 6 o'clock. And then game 5, if necessary, would go on Saturday, October 11th. What did you want to say about that?
Yeah, LA is ridiculous. I don't have that much confidence in Philly. I think they do have a puncher's chance, and they could be okay. They do have a good team. To get here, you have to be pretty good, but LA is just crazy. But they're sometimes can be unpredictable, but they seem to like the hot right now. But I wouldn't count you out just yet. I may look at it, see what kind of points are given or what kind of spread there is.
Well, I think we're going to win one game. I don't think we're going to be like blown out, I don't think we're
really? You don't
out.
think it could be a sweep?
I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think we'll win one game. It's a pretty serious team. I think we'll win one game. So let me share my screen again as we look to see what happened with former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez.
NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez facing an upgraded felony charge after an argument over the weekend turned violent, ending with Sanchez stabbed and bloodied. Seen here stumbling away in this video obtained by the New York Post.
Once we were provided with additional information about the victim's current medical condition, it became clear to us that additional charges needed to be filed.
The altercation with 69-year-old delivery truck driver Perry Toll, seen in this hospital photo, obtained from his family by ABC affiliate WRTV. Overnight, his attorney speaking with ABC News.
You can see from the pictures that he's got an enormous wound, cut on his face, and he's just really shaken up.
Shortly after 12:30 a.m. Saturday in downtown Indianapolis, police say the 38-year-old former football star confronted Toll about where he had parked. According to court documents, Toll said Sanchez smelled of alcohol and shoved him and prevented him from calling for help. Toll telling police he thought this guy is trying to kill me before stabbing Sanchez multiple times. The new felony battery charge for Sanchez is in addition to misdemeanor charges, including public intoxication and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle. His family saying in a statement, "This has been a deeply distressing time for everyone involved," adding, "Mark remains under medical care for the serious injuries he sustained and is focused on his recovery as the legal process continues."
Law enforcement has indicated that there is a plethora of video evidence available. If it goes to trial, will present a lot of evidence for the jury to view.
Sanchez unloads it in time. What a pass.
Sanchez played in the NFL for 8 seasons. In 2021, Sanchez became an analyst for Fox Sports. He was in Indianapolis to be part of the broadcast team for Sunday's Colts-Raiders game, but was replaced following the incident. On Monday, Toll filing a lawsuit, not only against Sanchez, but also his employer. Toll alleging Fox Corporation knew or should have known about Sanchez's unfitness as an employee, propensity for drinking and or harmful conduct, and for failing to supervise him in a capacity as an employee.
He's certainly interested in getting justice out of this, and his story is a great story.
Now, we have reached out to Fox for comment regarding this lawsuit and have not yet heard back. Sanchez waived an initial court hearing set for this morning. The next one set for early November. And if convicted, that felony charge carries a sentence of 1 to 6 years, guys.
All right, Matt, thank you.
All right. I like to say our thoughts and prayers to the gentleman who was stabbed, and our thoughts and prayers to Mark Sanchez and his family. Obviously, this is a very tough time for him. Mark Sanchez played for the New York Jets, the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowgirls, the Chicago Bears, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I remember him here in Philadelphia. He was also a University of Southern California Trojan football quarterback. The sad part about this is, and then Keith, you can talk, and then Stephen, is, obviously there's something wrong by the way his family responded. He's getting treatment in a hospital, the way he waived his right to some legal option that he had, and them implying that he needs to be in a hospital, is leading me to think it may be CTE. C as in cat, T as in Tom, E as in education. Keith?
Well, let me understand. Sounded like you said, was Sanchez stabbed or the other guy? Did Sanchez stab the other guy?
Both.
Oh, they both had knives, or?
No,
know
Sanchez had the knife.
No, the other gentleman.
No. The old man had the knife, and he was getting stabbed. I think Sanchez may have grabbed the old man's knife and cut him.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
Wow, that's really, he could have lost.
Yeah, it was a real fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have lost his life. And it was unnecessary for Sanchez to go to that gentleman who was parking his truck there and have a problem with where a man parked his truck, which has nothing to do with why Sanchez is in Indianapolis. He was there to announce the Indianapolis Colts game, not to tell truck drivers where to park their trucks, which tells you there's a problem right there.
Well, the best thing I can say in response is, being the instructor that I am, I'm a teacher. I teach people and train people. I think that self-defense, all of this, it just keeps, it just solidifies my argument, which is that every single citizen ought to be prepared, armed and prepared and trained properly how to use reasonable force for self-defense. Every one of us, it's our responsibility. And I don't, I really am serious about that. I emphasize that. But, most people ignore it until it happens to them or somebody they love. But I think that's
talking about your hands, or are you talking guns?
Both. Empty hands to armed self-defense. Sometimes you have to start out with empty hands in order for it to be justified. You can't just pull a gun on somebody and shoot them, or pull a knife and cut them up. You have to use proper, escalation of force or de-escalation. So that's what I'm all about.
Okay, thank you.
I think we all do it.
Stephen? Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, Stacey, I had thought about CTE, but I don't think it is, because we would have a lot more examples of this. He's only 36 years old. He was a quarterback and not like a running back. He didn't have as many hits to his head as different players do. I don't think it's that. I think it's the alcohol and the drugs. And I think it's he's got a real serious problem with that. That's the only reason, and he said he had blacked out. He said he didn't remember any of it. So I think that's why it would be, of course, it was 6 years. I want him to get 6 years, but maybe that could be alleviated a little bit and get him a whole lot of help and get him, like you said, we're praying for him as well as the other victim is 69 years old. And I think attacking somebody that old, it carries more charges. So I don't really know. I do feel bad for him, and I think if he wasn't on drugs and alcohol and didn't have this bad problem, I don't think he would have attacked anybody, and that's why I can't relate it to CTE. But I know he was blackout drunk and high or whatever he was on, so I know that's the cause of this. But he may have. Who knows who has CTE? You don't know until they die.
By the way, I'm 69. I'm 69 years old. By the way, I just thought I'd tell you.
Right. I think it's like 69 or 70. It's an extra charge if you beat up somebody at a certain age. It's an extra charge, at least in my state.
That right, Todd?
He knows how old you are, but I think you just wanted to use that number on him.
Okay,
nevertheless, this Sanchez boy looks white. And I think that's why Stephen is so lenient. I don't think you know what?
Here we go, Stephen.
Wait a minute. What is his name? What is his name?
And you don't
It's
care
not
about
Jones.
his name. What does he look like?
What is his name?
If he looked like Keith, you wouldn't be saying that. You would
Here
say
we go,
well, would not.
under the jail.
If somebody was blackout drunk and got into an altercation and they don't remember it, I think they need help.
Blackout drunk. I was blackout. That reminds me of when people say, you know, when these boys sleep with other boys and they say, I was drunk.
Oh God. Here we go,
anyway,
Stephen.
I gotta move on.
You've never been blackout drunk, Todd?
It's always the
Good for
race.
you.
Always the race card.
All right, Todd, I gotta move on.
I don't know which Stacey's talking about. I never even made a point. I gotta move on.
You never do make a point.
To Keith and Stephen, and then saying, "What is Stacey talking about?" You spent a whole 3 minutes talking to Stephen and Keith.
But did you hear Stephen and Keith talk for
I don't care.
74
I
minutes?
want you to make your point so people can hear it.
Anyway, like I was saying, I believe Stephen and Keith, they give white-looking people an out. When they're black and they look like Keith, they want them under the jail. And so he says things like, he didn't have no, for example, I can give you a few examples. Now, this boy, don't forget, he jumped in a man's truck and stabbed him and whatnot. Now, there was a guy named Gardner in New York just selling loose cigarettes. You want a cigarette? It's $1. And he was killed on the streets. These two clowns, Stephen and Keith, they didn't say how ridiculous and outrageous that was. And
I did.
Oh,
I did.
Sure you did.
I said that man should not have jumped behind him and grabbed him around his neck and choked him out for selling cigarettes. I said it. You want to go back, check the tape, Todd?
I will, because I don't believe a word you say.
I swear to you, I promise you I did. I didn't appreciate that. That's not right. He jumped on him without provocation. That was a bad cop.
Okay, thank you. I got to move on. Todd, you can't.
Okay, that guy should not. There's no out for him. There's no. Well, he was blackout drunk. He was at no excuse. You do the crime and you'll do the time, as Beretta said.
I'm saying I want him to do the time, but I hope he gets help. I think doing time is going to help him, and I think a lot of his time needs to be spent getting his head straight.
Well,
and I want that for you too. I would want that for you too, Todd.
Don't do the crime.
Even though you're a racist, I would want you to get your head straight too if you had his problems.
Thank you.
Hostages Square. You can see behind me that screen is showing the images of the hostages held in Gaza. And you can see people have gathered here to commemorate the second anniversary of the war. Some people are playing music, some are singing, people are embracing. There are photos of hostages around, as well as people who were killed on October 7th. Now, this is going on while there are ceasefire talks ongoing in Egypt to hopefully end this 2-year-long war. Now, this is one ceremony today that is happening across the country, and these are being put on by friends and families of the bereaved. Israel's government is going to put on ceremonies and commemorate October 7th on the Hebrew date of the calendar, and this shows the division in the country. A lot of people blame Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the war and for his handling of it over the last 2 years.
Did you hear what she just said, Stephen?
What did she say?
I knew you didn't hear that part. Stacey, did you hear it? A lot of people blame Benjamin Netanyahu for that war and the handling of it.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Okay.
So
Now, those are people in Israel.
Okay, I would assume that would be that way. Okay.
All right.
and your
Not
comment-
everybody's going to be behind somebody. It's going to be like a 50-50 maybe.
So, Stephen, this war should be coming to an end. President Trump has introduced a peace plan. Do you think that both sides, Hamas and Israel, will accept it?
I hope they do. I know Israel has already accepted, and all they had to do to keep all of this crap from going on a year ago, more than a year ago, all they had to do was release the hostages and send back the ones who they've murdered or died or whatever you want to say.
Can you answer her
Yeah, they
question?
could have. They could have done it a long time. The problem is Hamas. The problem is the other side, not Israel, because Israel just said, "Give us back our people, and we will stop fighting you." But they say, no, we won't give them back. Todd, it's really easy even for you. Look, count with me. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, Todd? So that's all you have to do. All you have to do is release the prisoners in the war ends. It's not as hard as you want to make it.
All right, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
Thank you.
All right.
Keith, my question to you, Keith, is it's horrible. It's been 2 years. See, there's a specific woman they've been following. She's lost most of her family, and now she's taking care of her nephew. On the 2-year anniversary, Israel is still bombing Gaza, still bombing the strips, still killing them. And the only place they really can go where they're kind of safe is on the beach under tents. Shouldn't they give those people a reprieve?
Well, there will be no peace there. No matter how much we try humanly, it's not possible, humanly possible, because this is a spiritual warfare, and it is a warfare of ideology. So it's not going to end. There may be some type of ceasefire for a minute, but then again, Hamas will start firing back. So, Hamas does not want peace. They want destruction. Stephen is right. He's trying to warn you. Stephen has been right.
You answered the question, Keith.
That's it.
Flat.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Well, you
They
did.
don't
You
want
just
peace.
answered it flat. Whether you like the answer or not, you answered it.
There won't be any peace. Not until Jesus comes. He's the only one that can set things right.
Okay,
This is not a human effort.
My prayers go out to the people, the Palestinians. My heart and it's just horrible. They're getting no reprieve, no clean water, not much food. The people go out for food, they come back, they get bombed and killed. They're not getting.
And these are children. These are babies. These are people that are under 12 years old.
Right. Release the hostages.
Are you telling the children to release the hostages?
I'm saying release the hostages. I'm saying the children who are in charge, they need to release the hostages, and it's all over. No more kids have to die.
Hey, Keith, can you
Israel's not trying to kill children. They're not trying to kill children.
Okay, stop. Nobody.
They hide behind children.
They can only hear one person at a time, please. It's Todd's turn. Todd.
I was just wondering for Keith to give some clarity on what this boy was talking about. I said these children are under 12 years old, and he said the children should release the hostages. And so I'm saying, how can children release the hostages? And you're talking about people that are 7 and 8 years old being killed. So it doesn't make any sense. So I'll just say this.
No, I'm talking about the ones who are in charge have brains of a 7 or 8 year old, because all they have to do is release the hostages. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. They don't know. We release the hostages and the war's over. They're too, they don't care about their people. Israel cares more about the people that are the babies that are getting killed than Hamas. Hamas doesn't care about them. They want more people to die. That's how they fight their wars. They want to have public opinions like, look at all these babies. They'll kill their own babies. They'll shoot their own people trying to get food. They want them to be miserable. They use their people. They're the only people that do stuff like that, Todd, and you support them. It's ridiculous. 1 + 1 = 2.
Okay, so now this is what Trump supporters do. What they say when you're having a debate, a rational, sensible, intelligent debate, you support Hamas. You support Hamas. and all that craziness. And that's how you can tell a Trump supporter dumb and ignorant is all day long without anyway.
You do support Hamas.
Okay.
You do support Hamas. You just can't admit it because now you feel stupid for supporting Hamas.
Okay,
If
Todd.
you are against Israel, then you support Hamas.
Todd, finish your point. I'm sorry. I'm really am, but we have to move on.
This is what Trump supporters do. If you do this and you do that. And they're dumb and ignorant as all day long. So the question was, will Trump's plan work? Will his peace agreement work? And the answer Keith gave was no. The answer Stephen gave was we don't know. That was Stephen's answer. So the answer is what Keith said, no, it will not work because Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't want it to work. He does not want a two-state solution. He never did, and he never
Yes, he did. He gave him a two-state solution a bunch of times, and they kept bombing him when he did. They don't want the two-state. See, you're on Hamas's side. They don't want the two-state, not Israel. They tried over and over and over. Gave them billions of dollars. They built tunnels underneath to try to kill the Jews. You're on the wrong side, Todd. How can you be so stupid? How can you be so stupid?
By listening to you makes
right,
you stupid.
Right.
Day 2 of their session, the Supreme Court is already hearing a case that will have huge repercussions for many of you around the country, whether states can ban the practice of conversion therapy. CBS News' Chanel Call has been reading on that case. Chanel, what did we hear this morning from the justices, and where do they seem to be leaning?
Yeah, so let's set you up first. As things stand right now, Colorado and over 20 other states, Reed, have already banned conversion therapy for minors. But there is this therapist in Colorado named Kaylee Childs. She is challenging that ban now. She is an evangelical Christian that practices what she calls faith-informed counseling. Reed, she says that she's not trying to cure clients of same-sex attractions or try to change their sexual orientation. She actually says, look, this ban is infringing on her First Amendment right to perform talk therapy. Listen.
Issues of gender and sexuality come up regularly with my clients in our counseling conversations. And Colorado's law would hover over every conversation I have with my minor clients, threatening me with a $5,000 fine, suspension from practice, and losing my counseling license. And while I certainly am worried about my livelihood, Colorado's law hurts kids struggling with gender dysphoria most of all. If counselors wish to engage clients on these issues, the law limits them to one option of encouraging kids to reject their body. That is a tragedy. Today, my legal team at Alliance Defending Freedom told the Supreme Court that Colorado's law harms kids and censors speech. I'm hopeful that the court will see this clearly and protect free speech.
And here's what happened today, Reed. Several justices, they signaled they agree with that perspective, essentially saying they are leaning towards ruling against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for minors. But I do want to say this is a really hot button issue. There were protests outside the courthouse today. And we should note some data from every medical organization, every major medical organization, all the way from the American Medical Association to the American Psychological Association. They've rejected this practice of conversion therapy for minors. They say, look, it doesn't work. They also say that instead it leads to depression and suicidal thoughts in minors. So looking ahead, this could be one of the biggest, most significant cases the High Court will address this year. And we're thinking that a decision in this case is expected by next summer.
All right.
Okay, so let me share my screen. I want to first define what conversion therapy is. Let's define it first. If you look at the screen, it says conversion therapy is a pseudoscientific practice of attempting to change an individual's sexual orientation, romantic orientation, gender identity, or gender expression to align with heterosexual and cisgender norms. Conversion therapy is ineffective at changing a person's sexual orientation or gender identity and frequently causes significant long-term psychological harm. The position of current evidence-based medicine and clinical guidance is that homosexuality, bisexuality, and gender variance are natural and healthy aspects of human sexuality and gender identity. Okay, let's start with Keith, then Stephen, then Cousin Todd, and then I think by then, Aguna should be on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Keith, the Supreme Court, how do you think they rule? Okay, Keith, we can't hear you.
He's on mute.
First, I want to say that I disagree with their definition in terms of saying that that homosexuality. No, homosexuality, because that's what he said in there. Homosexuality is a natural norm, a normal thing. In other words, that's what they were saying at the end of that statement.
Well, read that again, Stacey. He said.
Well, put it up. Put it up.
Okay, go ahead,
It
Stacey.
is not a normal
or
thing.
you can just read it. Bisexuality and go.
No,
read
just
the bottom again.
There it is, the bottom. The position of current evidence. See, there it is. I didn't. She took it off.
Yeah, I can't
Trying
see
to move
it.
to it. There it is,
The
right there.
position of current evidence-based, the position of current evidence-based medicine and clinical guidance is that homosexuality, bisexuality, and gender variance are natural, a damn lie,
and
healthy aspects of human sexuality. That is from the pits of hell. So based on that, I would say that premise, all the rest of that is false. So based on that, because it is not a natural variance. Because
And
God
you learned that
Almighty,
it's not natural. How did you learn
because
that? You
God
took a
created
class.
us. God created all men equal. He created Adam and Eve, and all men equal. He did not create homosexuality. Homosexuality was a choice made by starting with Sodom and Gomorrah, and you know the end of that. I'm sure you've all heard of that story.
Okay.
They ended up gone. So that's what I'm going to have to say on that. The rest of that premise is dead. It's to me, it is irrelevant.
And you base that in biblical, or do you base that in science, or what are you basing that in?
I base it in both biblical and physical evidence.
Physical
if you
evidence.
have a penis,
What's the physical
if you have
evidence?
a penis, you're a man.
Yeah.
If you have a penis, you're a man.
What does that have to do with
If you have a
bisexuality,
vagina,
homosexuality? The
you
end
are a
of that.
woman.
Okay.
So
All
a
right. What
man
does
is
that have
not
to?
made for a woman. A man is not made for a man to lie together, and a woman is not made for a woman to lie together. That's what the scripture says. So naturally and biblically, it works. It fits together.
This doesn't work, Todd. This doesn't work.
Okay.
It's simple.
And you know
That's the way
that
it
by
goes.
how would you know that?
That doesn't work.
How would you know? Can you please answer
You
the
need
question?
there's something that looks more like that.
How would you know? Did you go to
Well,
school?
what we have in
Did
these
you take a
government-run
biology
schools in the
class?
United States, what we have in these government-run schools in the United States is a strong push for homosexuality in our schools, starting at a very young age, and they put the gay flags in the schools. They do everything. That's conversion therapy right there, to convert these children who don't have any brains, that don't know what they're going to be, and they're pushing gay on them, gay and trans on them. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe they want to ruin the next generation of children, or maybe, just maybe, they don't want these children to ever procreate, have any more children, because a lot of people on the left, they're part of the death cult that doesn't want any more humans. They don't want a lot of humans that are here. They're fine with people getting killed because they're fine with abortion, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So if they have people on the other side that can say, hey, we don't have to do this. We don't have to push children one way. Let children be what they are. Stop pushing your sexual demonic crap on these little kids. You're destroying these little children's futures, and you're pushing transgender
babbling
crap,
on now.
and you're ruining these kids. Any doctor that
Stacey, you
ruins their
never
health,
said
ruins
you gotta
these children.
wrap
Wait a
it
minute,
up. You're
Todd.
going
Wait a
too
minute, Todd.
long.
Any doctor that ruins these children for the rest of their lives need to spend their lives in prison. And one day it's
Okay.
going to be like that. It's an abomination to God, even if you don't believe in God,
Okay.
that you would do these children like this. You would ruin their sexual organs. You would cut off their breath.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
No, it's an abomination. People on here support it, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Right. So
Right on, right on.
Now, what I don't want to hear from Stacey ever again on this show, and I want the audience to hear me carefully. Todd, you got to hurry up. You got to wrap it up. You got to stop. You can't say that because you look ridiculous when you do that.
Todd, you have to hurry up. You got to stop. You can't keep going. Thank you. I'm moving on to the next.
It's funny how these PhDs have all the answers. That would be Stephen and Keith. Now, what they're saying is about conversion therapy, it doesn't work. That's what they said, number one. Stephen went all into mutilating bodies. Nobody's even talking about that. But of course, he doesn't know that because he's a Trump supporter. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. So what they're talking about is conversion therapy, taking a child who thinks they're gay and telling them God hates fags. God doesn't like gay people. You see, and you're going to hell. That's conversion therapy. To shame these children into not being gay as if that would work. And this Christian belief, it's funny they never talk about conversion therapy for liars, because isn't lying just as big a sin as homosexuality in the Bible?
I'm just talking about messing with children. That's all I'm talking about. Stop messing with the children.
Ma'am, your time is up. Now,
I don't care. I don't care who's gay.
Cousin Todd, and so is
Keep
yours.
it out of children.
Cousin Todd, you can't keep talking on and on and on and keep going on and on. Your time is up.
Oh gosh. So anyway, that's what these people are saying does not work. There was a man today on talking about this conversion therapy. His parents took him to conversion therapy, and he has two sisters and a mother. And part of that conversion therapy is staying away from all females. He could not deal with any females, and he didn't talk to his mother and two sisters for 3 years. This is how sick these, and any religion, let me just say this and I'm finished. Any religion, hear me good now, any religion that tells you not to speak to, deal with, talk to your mother, father, sister, brother, friend, that's a false religion. That's
no religion does that. Christianity doesn't do that. What are you talking about, Todd?
I just
you just make up things as you go
conversion
along.
Therapy.
You
the
have
boy
no
just
idea.
said you cannot be around females, and he couldn't talk to
For
his
3
mother
years.
for
He couldn't be
3
around.
years.
He couldn't be around his mother for 3 years. Come on, Todd.
And two
No, nobody
sisters.
believes you. Nobody believes you.
Okay, I'll pull it up for you. Wait a minute. If I pull it up and you see it, what are you going to say to me, stupid? Tell me. What are you going to say to me? Oh, I was wrong.
What do they have
I
him in a
didn't see that.
prison? Do they have him in a prison that he can't see his mother?
No.
What are you talking about? He can't talk to his mother.
Oh my God. I can only repeat what the man said. He was not allowed
That's not a
speak.
Christian
The
thing.
Department of Justice to go after his
Okay.
political enemies like former FBI Director James Comey. In the congressional hot seat today, you see her right there behind me. That's Attorney General Pam Bondi. Listen to this heated moment when Senator Richard Blumenthal asked about that Comey indictment.
I am not going to discuss any conversations I have, nor any investigations,
So
nor
you are unwilling to
any
tell
pending
this committee
cases.
about conversations with the White House
And if I
regarding
may
James
continue,
Comey's indictment.
and if I may
Let me show
continue,
you a picture.
James Comey was indicted by one of the most liberal grand juries in the United States.
The night before James Comey's indictment, you had dinner with the President of the United States. Pretty intimate group. Was
Actually, there
James
were a lot of
Comey
people there that
discussed-
night. That's a
was
great
James
picture.
Comey discussed at that dinner?
I love that picture. That's a great picture. And there were a lot of people there that night. I think the
No.
entire cabinet was there.
Did you discuss James Comey with the President of the United States? He was sitting just to your left.
Well, 2 seats down. Yes, 2 seats down. And I am
Yes.
not going to discuss any
I'm going to take
conversations
that
I've
as
had
a
or not
yes,
have with the
because
President
the
of the
American
United
public
States.
is entitled to know, Madam Attorney General,
The entire
whether
cabinet was
you
at that
took
dinner, too,
instructions from President Trump after he told you very directly to indict James Comey, which is weaponization of the Department of Justice.
And which is something the Trump administration said they wanted to end. So let's talk about that. Let's go live to Washington.
We can talk about that. The Trump administration said they wanted to end the weaponization of agencies in the government.
They
How
did.
you done that with the indictment of James Comey, Stephen?
Because James Comey is guilty. The weaponization came from the last administration on people who were not guilty. So this is all coming out. Just pay attention. It's all coming out now. Everything that we've known is coming out for the surface. So the party that y'all are in love with is the most corrupt party ever. James Comey is guilty. He lied to Congress. That's a felony. He's in trouble. He's in trouble, and he's a bad guy, and they're going to find something else on him. And they got other people they're bringing in too. They're not using the office to go after people who are innocent. They're going after people who are actually guilty. Think about that. Think what a wonderful world that is when we go after the guilty people and not the people who are innocent. Like 99% of them from January 6th that were innocent.
Cousin Todd.
They didn't get their constitutional rights.
Cousin Todd. Hurry up. We're almost out of time.
I just have to, since he brought up January 6th, and you played this clip before, and you saw people breaking the windows and
FBI.
smashing. And so I said, should those people be in jail?
Yes.
And
yes.
They're not.
Yes. They were undercover FBI agents. They were undercover FBI agents. And every one of them should be in prison.
They were.
What do you mean? They weren't on Trump's side.
This is how stupid he is. And this is how he gets around answering any question. He won't let you ask him a question because he's dumb and ignorant. I said, should those people be in jail? Those people that broke the windows that Stacey played the clip, fighting police, breaking the windows, should they be in jail? He first said yes. Then he said,
he asked me a question. The ones who broke the windows should be in jail. The ones who are fighting cops, the cops were aggressive against them first.
Okay, go ahead, Cousin Todd. We don't have time for you to
Should
answer.
they be in jail?
No, not the ones who knocked the windows out, the ones who brought the guillotines, they were FBI people. All of them should be.
Should they?
Quiet. Keith.
274 FBI people there.
Keith, my question to you is:
you don't want to know the truth.
Was the testimony by AG Bondi disrespectful to the people who were elected into that Senate seat for their prospective state?
That's a good question, Stacey. I like to answer that by saying it's kind of hard to answer because if you notice in the clips, the one that you played, and I watched that by the way, I watched the whole thing. And everybody that came up there to question her, not a single one really gave her the opportunity to answer because they kept interrupting. They kept breaking into her right in the middle of her answer.
It's a
so
yes
she
or
never
no
really
answer.
got a chance to answer. And
Did you have
they answered
discussions
for
with
it.
the
And
president
then,
about
just like
Comey?
Todd just did. See, just like Todd just did. You know, when I was
Because
in
you're
the middle of my
babbling on.
talking. No, it's not babbling. It's just that she's trying to answer the
We gotta move
question
on.
and they interrupt. See, just like I'm interrupted. So that's what happens. You don't get to answer the question because you get interrupted or stopped or someone finishes the answer for you.
Yes, I had
That's what they do.
discussions with the president. No, I did not have discussions with the president. That's it.
National Guard.
Doesn't
Anything else is
matter.
babbling.
It doesn't
has
matter.
stopped Mr. Trump from sending California troops to Oregon.
Eyewitness News reporter Monica DeAnda joining us live in studio with more on Governor Gavin Newsom's fight.
Yeah, this is a legal battle that's going to continue. The White House just responding this morning.
But last night's decision came during a late evening telephone hearing. A federal judge ruled some 200 members of our California National Guard cannot operate in Oregon. They were called in by the president to protect federal buildings in Portland amid ongoing protests.
Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa.
The president first tried mobilizing Oregon's own National Guard last week, but a judge blocked that request. So then the president attempted to send the California National Guard instead. That triggered strong reaction from Governor Newsom and Attorney General Rob Bonta, who requested a temporary restraining order for the move. Last night, a judge granted that order.
The president federalizes the National Guard in one state, tries to federalize it in another. That judge says no in the second state, and the president says, okay, then I'll send the National Guard federalized for state A into state B. I don't know that we have a situation that looks like that. And as a result, I think we can't say, here's exactly what's going to happen in a legal case.
The judge's temporary order expires in 14 days unless it is extended at a hearing that's now set for later this month. Oregon is fighting to prevent federalized National Guard troops from going to Portland to address ongoing protests.
Long pause.
Okay. I thought you could still hear that. You couldn't. Let me share the screen. Sorry, I thought you could hear it.
You know, as far as what we are hearing, the National Guard, first of all, it's illegal, unconstitutional, it's dangerous, it's wrong. This is not about deportation. This is not about safety for this president. This is about authoritarianism. It's about stoking fear. It's about breaking the Constitution that would give him that much more control over our American cities. We have not heard directly, of course, from the president or his administration. And, you know, my expectation is that regardless of, you know, what this administration is doing, I'm going to remain firm and committed in protecting the rights and the civility of our nation. And we'll start right here in Chicago.
Is there any intelligence that you're hearing, not directly from the administration? Obviously, they're not talking to you, but I mean, have you gotten any inside intel about, you know, where the Texas National Guard went? They flew out last night. They arrived somewhere. And what about the Illinois National Guard and as to when they might be called up?
Right. So we do know that much like what we've seen in other parts of the country, there's a process that the National Guard goes through before they're actually released into the streets of Chicago or anywhere, you know. But what's really disturbing about all of this is that the National Guard, they have no policing authority or any policing powers. It's not what they're trained to do. And so, you know, the intel that we have received, obviously, is that this president is determined to federalize the National Guard and to occupy our cities with the military. It's unconscionable, it's unthinkable, but this is America today, and we're going to do everything in our power to ensure that our democracy is ultimately protected.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Your executive order a few weeks ago urged federal law enforcement to not wear masks and present other identifying information. As that seems to continue to be flouted, is there anything that your administration can do to enforce those suggestions and ensure that residents know that the masked people that are showing up are actually maybe federal officials versus someone else?
Well, first of all, residents of Chicago will know that if they're in a mask and they're disguising, that is not a local police officer. Our officers are very much identifiable. They don't wear masks. They're here to serve and to protect our residents in our communities. You know, look, the executive order was designed to challenge the federal government to engage at a local level with the same level of accountability that we expect from law enforcement. This, again, is a further demonstration of this president's unwillingness to cooperate with mayors. And quite frankly, it shows his lack of understanding of how you build trust within communities and law enforcement. In fact, this president has done more to disrupt, interrupt the relationship between local law enforcement and law enforcement in general with the community. That's not how we create safe communities. Are there other things that we're looking at? Absolutely. Are we going to make sure that we do our part as a local law enforcement to continue to engage in constitutional policing and building those relationships so that we can continue to drive violence down? Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And guess who we've got on? Aguna, and he is not looking ashy. Go ahead, Aguna.
Oh my gosh.
I never look ashy.
That's what Todd called you ashy.
I did not. Stacey is so
That is
tacky.
cold.
I have the clip
That
on
is
TikTok,
cold, Laguna.
and that's what
That
Todd
is
called.
cold, Laguna. That was
Stacey,
cold. to say that.
that was so tacky. I can't even get over Stacey. Anyway,
So let
Chef
me get into
Clip
this.
went on forever.
You saw the National Guard. The
I think you have something against Aguna for him being out so much, so you want to insult him every chance you get.
No, I don't. You do.
She misses me.
The President of the United States, President Trump, has called the California National Guard into Portland, Oregon, and he's put the Texas National Guard into Chicago and other parts of Illinois. Based on what the mayor of Chicago just said so eloquently, the President of the United States is not promoting community policing. He's nationalizing and federalizing the National Guard in a way that is not serving the people. So my question to each of you, starting with Stephen, then Keith, then Aguna, and then Cousin Todd, is how does that make President Trump the president of law and order?
Well, you can't take anything that man says seriously. Are you serious? He knows how to take care of his town. Really? He really knows. Really, if he did, we wouldn't have to go to these links to try to make things better. Try to make it like Washington, D.C. is right now. Washington, D.C. is much better. Crime is way down. Why wouldn't he want that for his city? I guess it needs to be so chaotic, and people need to be so poor. People need to live in ghettos so they can continue to get the federal money and continue to launder that money for themselves while everybody stays in the ghettos for all of their lives. They use these people and they support them. I don't understand why. We've had them in my town ghettos for years, and I had to go through the ghettos. So I was like, why do people have to live like this? Nobody should have to live like this. But these cities want these people to be downtrodden so they can get all of this money, and then they can launder the money between themselves and take whatever money they want, because that's what happens when you hire up. That's how everything rolls. Everybody's taking something from somebody. Everybody's getting a pinch here and there. So that's what it's all about. And that you can't listen to anything. Y'all can really listen to that man and say, well, he said something about Trump, so this is some kind of gospel. No, this is not gospel. This is a dumbass that never should have been in the position he's in right now. If it can make his city better, it would be better. Now watch what happens when they go in there and pretend and get it right and bring it safety. And these National Guard is coming in to protect federal buildings. Wait a minute, they protect federal buildings, and they're protecting.
I let you talk, Stephen. You've been going.
Right, I got you, but yeah, I got you. It's all good. Thank you, Stacey.
So Aguna said he was elected by the people that live there. Then Aguna said Stephen is clueless, and then Aguna said blah blah blah. Keith, it's your turn.
Right. Well, I'm going to go right to the heart of it. Constitution. Let me start with. There are 3 points I'll make real quick. I won't take long, Stacey, if I don't get interrupted. But anyway, this is point 1. This is in Article 2, Section 2. It says the President of the United States shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and conjunction and of the militia of the several states. Militia of the several states. That's the National Guard. And Section 3, it is now. Section 3, he says here that the president, he shall take care, here's his duty, main duty, he shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed and shall commission all, not some, all the officers of the United States. That's what it says. Then I'll go to last one, one more. Section 4, it says, and this is what should happen to that governor and all the governors like Newsom and that other governor and the mayor. It says the president, listen to this, vice president, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason. These officers are traitors. They are doing treason. They are insurrectionists by their talk. And that's all I have to say on that.
Okay, thank you. I did have a comment. Aguna said, what's the cost? Then Aguna said, then why doesn't he work with the local government? I did have a comment from
Because they don't want to work with him.
They don't want to. They don't want to.
A viewer said, Trump ultimately wants to have all this militarism in place to intimidate physical voting that inevitably grows against him. All right. Aguna.
No, they put those illegals in black communities to take away our
You
vote,
had your turn,
to
Keith.
outnumber us.
You had your turn, Keith. Thank you. It's very simple. The
Go
office
for
of
it.
the president, if the president reached out to these local governments and said, not through social media and doing all this brinksmanship, just say, hey, okay, what resources do you need? And we can work together. And if you need to deploy the National Guard, which is what he's doing, that's not a long-term solution to any of this. You're wasting a lot of taxpayers' dollars. It's kind of an overreach, and there's not an emergency at this time. Now, you create an emergency, that's one thing, and that seems to what's happening. But my thing all comes down to making sure that the executive branch works in conjunction with the local governments to provide the resources. And that's the conversation. And it's not a conversation that we're going to play out here because everyone on here, Stephen and Keith, just want to be reactionary. They're vibe voters. They just want, they send in the military. Okay, so they're going to have them there for how long? At what cost? And then the people that are going in there, these Texas National Guardsmen, they're missing their kids' school. These are regular citizens that are being, called up to go.
Well, they signed up for that. So what?
Not for that. Well, of course, yeah, they signed up for that, right? They signed up to be police in Chicago by joining the National Guard in Texas. I mean, we sit back and just think about, does this make sense? Look at the government. The mayor, I'd rather have the mayor. Some mayors want the National Guard there. If this mayor doesn't want that, I would even have town halls to say, hey, what do the people of this area want? Do you want the National Guard? Okay, I'll send it. Then it's not, to Stephen's point, yeah, the mayor looks clueless then because he's not doing what the people say that they want. He should try to work with, and it should be from the top down. It shouldn't be, he needs to reach out to Trump. There should be a collaboration between the state.
It doesn't matter. It's an emergency. It doesn't matter what a little man wants. It doesn't matter what the little man wants because ICE attacks. Stacey, please. ICE attacks are 4,000. Listen.
No, Stephen. You can't tell someone to stop. Stephen, you can't tell someone to stop unless you have your time.
You didn't. Why don't you stop him, Stacey? Stacey, why don't you cut his microphone, Stacey?
You know why?
Why don't you cut his microphone?
I'm going to tell you
He's
why.
done talking. Why are you cutting mine and not his, Stacey? You didn't cut Todd's when he talked over Keith either, Stacey. The problem is you.
Okay. The problem is me. Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is you. Now listen.
My
4,000.
My question, Cousin Todd.
ICE attacks are up 4,000%.
My question, Cousin Todd.
That's why
My question, Cousin Todd. My question, Cousin Todd, is this. The United States is made up of citizens that live in different cities and states. They're working, everyone's pooling in their money that pays for our government, our National Guard, our local police. We pay for it through our taxes. Why do they not have a say in whether or not the National Guard comes to their location, especially when they take pictures of their location showing there is no upheaval and there's no unrest?
And there's no war zone, quote unquote. They do have the power. They have a representative who they go to say, hey, we need help around here. And that representative will send the police force around there. And if the police force isn't enough, he'll tell the president, hey, I need help around here. Can you please send out the National Guard? That's how that works. Never in the history of America has a president on his own said, Democrat states need. It is just beyond stupid. But people like Stephen and Keith fall for it.
But
There's no Republican state.
as if they already tried to bring civil obedience back. They never
What are you
do.
talking about? Civil obedience.
Chicago is in a sham. It's Chicago's crime is
Did
skyrocketing.
When was the last time you went
That's
to
why they
Chicago?
got the guys out there.
When was the last time you
Chicago
went to
ask for
Chicago?
help?
No, this is what happened. This is the truth about Chicago.
Did Chicago
Have you
ask
been
for
there?
help from the president?
They never did anything to solve their own crime, and they don't
Okay.
want
They
to.
don't need the president overreaching.
Okay.
They
They'll
don't
pass the
want it.
president.
But the people are calling out for them, especially the black community.
No,
I mean, I've watched all
mind
kinds
you,
of videos.
you keep
I have
talking about
watched all kinds of
law
videos,
enforcement.
which
You
I
need
can never
trained
send to
law
you.
enforcement.
See, I can never send to you and Aguna because you guys would not receive it. I send it to Stacy; she doesn't show it. So it's there. It's out there.
no.
It's out there
Listen,
in the
this is
I don't
not.
show what? Wait, what don't I show, Keith?
the videos that I send you and Steven, I send you videos after videos about the violence that's occurring in these cities,
He
and
sends
that
you
the
all black
public
people.
officials are doing
He sends
nothing.
you all people that look like him.
Black people are complaining,
And his
even
mother.
the gang members, black gangs, because
Gang
they are
members.
being
Can you
overrun.
imagine?
Black
Okay.
people are
You're
being
making it
overrun
up.
and
You're
replaced.
making it up. You're using
The
propaganda.
black vote is being replaced, and you guys say
I-
nothing about it.
ICE
Black
attacks
vote.
are up
Urban areas
4,000%.
naturally have higher crime in urban
The black
areas.
vote is
But you don't
being
send in the
replaced.
military. You don't
The
send the
black
military into
vote
urban
is
areas.
being
You need
replaced.
trained
The black
military law
vote
enforcement, because
is
it's not
being
going to be a
replaced.
long-term solution by just sending the military in there, because you're going to have them stationed,
The
going to be
black
paying
vote
money.
is being
You need
replaced.
trained law enforcement in order to enforce the law in
Okay,
those
thank
communities.
you.
They're
We're
not
out of
enforcing
Stephen,
the
I'm
law in
getting-
these
I'm getting
cities because these
They
cities are
actually
not.
cut funding. They actually cut funding to law enforcement, federal funding. So
But
so
you
you're sitting
didn't
here talking
answer my-
about doing
you
something
didn't
about
answer
it. But
my,
what you're talking about is
ICE
sending in the military.
ICE
How
is
the
in
military going to
Chicago.
enforce the law?
Okay,
didn't
so real
address
quick,
my
we're out of
point.
time. We have roundtable. Stephen, you said you want to talk about something specifically on the roundtable.
Yes.
What was it that you
I-
want to talk about?
Yeah, ICE is a federal agency, and the National Guard is there to protect federal buildings and ICE. ICE attacks are up 4,000 times from this time last year. 4,000%. What are you talking about? That's why they have to be there. That's why all of y'all's arguments are specious. That's why the mayor, the governor, and everybody else is insane in Illinois, Chicago. Y'all are insane. Y'all are absolutely insane.
4,000%.
They're ICE agents trying to get people out of there, and they're being attacked. They're being attacked, and they're federal cops, and their National Guard is there to protect them and federal buildings, because people like you support the ones that burned down the buildings in 2020, the Antifa people that burnt down the buildings. That's
Okay,
who
thank
y'all
you.
support.
Thank
All
you.
right, what we have here, this guy Jay Jones is running for Attorney General in Virginia. You must know about him, Aguna. On the Democrat ticket a couple years ago, he told a guy in a text, he's a Republican, that, now I can tell you the whole story about Hitler and whatever. It doesn't matter. He's what, I don't know. But he said if he had 2 bullets, he'd put both of them in his head. Then he'd shoot the man's children when he's in his mama's arms. And then he would go after they were dead and buried. He would go to their graves and piss on their graves. And you know what? He's not stepping down. I mean, not stepping down. He's not leaving the race. And Abigail Spanberger, who's an ex-CIA piece of garbage, deep state piece of garbage. If she's governor, we're going to be worse than California in Virginia. And Aguna must know this. But Jay Jones, a piece of crap. This is what your Democrat Party is. And he had like a huge DUI before. He's had all kinds of stuff. But this right here, when he told that guy he's going to kill him, he wants to kill his children, and he's not stepping out of this race, that's your Democrat Party right there.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
why you got the guy in New York running for mayor. That's your Democrat Party.
Thank you.
Y'all are insane, man. If y'all support that, y'all just hate.
Okay, I said thank you. You have to stop. Thank you. I let you talk. We're out of time. Since Aguna came on last, I'm going to give you a last word, Aguna.
Wait, is that the round table? I thought there was a round table. You only gave him
Out
the
of
round
time.
table.
I gave it to
Steven.
Stephen and Aguna. That's it. We're out of time.
Keith and I barely get 2 words out.
Thank you, Todd. All right. Thank you, Todd.
I got the Eagles. I'm gonna talk about the Eagles. I'm not gonna get into any propaganda and any all this stuff. All I know is the Eagles lost the first game since over a year, and the sky isn't falling yet, but they do need to get their act together, and I think they'll bounce back. They play the Giants Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that game. We need outlets of entertainment because people are getting really uptight.
Tomorrow and Thursday. The Phillies play the Dodgers tomorrow and Thursday.
I don't even want to talk about it looks like the Phillies are doing what they always do in October, and that not finish the fight. They are falling apart. They had no offensive bats. They tried to come back in the 8th inning last night, and of course they came up 1 run short. So it looks like it's pretty bad. They're down two games going to LA. Yeah, I don't see it, coming out or
they can turn that around because I have faith in them. And if they get together and concentrate, I'm sure they can put some of those pucks in the hockey sticks to good use.
What? Thank you, Todd.
All
that you are and all that you do, Todd.
Miracle on ice.
All right, to our first responders who make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do and sacrificing your lives so that each one of us are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Oguna, the voice of reason, go Birds.
Why are you shaking that thing?
Keith, the constitutional conservative. Stephen, the independent thinker.
Well, at least the Redskins won. We're holding up for y'all. Come on.
And my cousin Todd.
Who?
Redskins.
I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check it out on TikTok.
True Social.
No, we're not on True Social. We're on TikTok. That's our name on TikTok, Sporlitiks.com. Check us out on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. Twitch, we are on Twitch. And of course, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at YouTube at Sporlitiks. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. We finally got through a whole thing where people could actually get heard. Good night.
I tell you, I just want to address this one thing before I go. Since I didn't get to do my roundtable, and Todd didn't either. Real quickly, I find it very, very, very fascinating. I guess that's a word. I find it fascinating that, me being a conservative, I'm a Christian conservative. I'm a constitutionalist and all that stuff. I know you guys are against that, not Stephen, but. It's interesting.
Yeah, he gets you left and right.
So it's interesting to say. It's interesting to see that when I look at these videos now, I don't believe they're fabricated because they seem too realistic, and yet they have all black after black after black. I'm looking at Chicago.
Yeah,
they have town halls.
Send them back to Africa.
They have town halls where they discuss with the mayor. That mayor Johnson. They get in those town halls, they yell at the mayor, they're going after him because the mayor is pro-illegal immigration and they are replacing black vote. They are replacing black. They get all of the handouts. Now, these are blacks. These are Democrat blacks who probably
they don't want the handouts.
Getting their handouts as well.
Okay.
So now we got a war over the handouts.
So the immigration is more important than the crime? Which crime is more important, immigration or murders?
It's all important.
Illegal immigration. Illegal
immigration. All of it's important.
Illegal immigration is more important than the murders.
I'll tell you why. Because the moment they come
immigration
in here,
is more important than the murder rate in Chicago.
I'll tell you why. Well, yeah, let me tell you why. Okay. Because the Chicago, the murder rate can be dealt with those public officials if they really want to. Because
that's why they're deploying the National Guard, though. I thought they were going to try to.
All right, good. So now the illegal immigration is much more complicated because they've been here like 30, 40 years, 5, 10, 15 years. Once they get settled in, you know, it's very difficult to get people out. You know, it almost appears to be inhumane. So that's a tough issue. You know that. You know, you guys know it's a tough issue. So it's hard to get people. You know, they have families, they
but
got
you're not really you're
property,
not
they
even
got
really
homes.
talking about the issue though. Illegal immigration has different layers to it, right? There are the people that sneak in, there are the people
Yeah.
that seek asylum and are waiting for a court date, and then there are the people that that overstay their visas or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
there's different ways to deal with that. All of that you may consider
That's very
illegal,
complicated.
but there's different ways to deal with that. For the people
very
that have been
complicated.
here, the people that have been here, right? And if they're not, if you want to send everybody home first and then say come back in the right way, right? You're going to spend a lot of money in order to do that because you're going to be pulling all these people out of their homes, doing all this search and seizure stuff. If you incentivize them to go through a proper process, which is a lot. If I come here and I give myself up and I seek asylum and I'm here and I don't show up to a court date or I'm waiting on a court date and you still deport me because I'm waiting on a deport date, that's not illegal immigration. But that's being lumped into every conversation around it. So at the end of the day, though, it's going to cost you money regardless. You're going to cost money on healthcare. It's going to cost money if you're sending in the National Guard. I'm worried about the fiscal aspect of it.
They're
to
not.
deploy the National Guard
They're not.
in Chicago for a police action that they're not trained to do, and that there's no sustainability to that. It just seems as if it looks like a dog and pony show versus really addressing the problem.
Then how did everything get better in DC if it's a dog and pony show? How did things get so much better?
It didn't get
They
better.
did get better, 90% better in most cases.
I was going
90% better.
going out before,
Very
and I
good,
live here.
Stephen.
See, I live here.
Very good.
I know what it was before the National Guard came.
Okay.
I went out after the National, and I didn't see
Right.
a difference. Right?
Crime rates are 90% better across the board. Maybe just because you didn't get carjacked don't mean your brother did.
They
What are you
cleaned up a
talking
lot
about?
of things around the National Mall and things like that. And then once they're not deployed anymore, what's going to happen to the crime rate? Is it going to go back then? If they're the solution,
Hopefully
the
the police department and the people above the police department would say, "Hey, let's keep it like this. Let's show them we don't need them anymore." Maybe that'll do it. Instead of Aguno, you know what they do? The people that run these cities, they pull the cops back. They don't let the cops do their job.
Oh God!
You're not even here in
I
DC.
wanted to.
I'm talking about the optics.
I understand what you're saying, right? Yeah, you're having a baby because you can. I can't. Okay, but I can emphasize.
If I'm a murderer and I just won't murder when the National Guard is here, and then once they leave, I'm gonna just go off and commit crime. That's not solutioning. You're just looking at
get rid of the mayor.
I
If they get rid of the mayor, they can enforce the law.
Yeah, get a mayor like Giuliani. Get a Giuliani in there. Get a Republican. Get a Giuliani who's not going to be soft on crime and letting people out of jail. All they do is say you don't want to hear it. They let people out of jail and they commit more crimes.
Hello.
Why wouldn't you stop Todd from making?
Hello.
She's gonna stop me from talking, but not from him from farting out of his mouth.
You're still talking,
Right. So you were still talking. Todd's making noises. I know you don't want to hear what I have to say, but all I'm saying is the truth.
No,
one day you're going to want to hear it. One day you're going to have a choice but to hear it.
You're still talking.
Okay.
You want to hear yourself talk.
I said before, everybody had a round table except me, but I think, and this is not a joke, I think Stephen is mentally unstable.
You couldn't do a round table because you were at the kids table. You were at the kids table. You got your own little table in there. Do your little kid thing. Do your little kid thing. Talk about the puck and the hockey stick and the wrong sport. Do your little kid thing. That's why you're at the kids table.
You shut up. I wanted to play a game. And the game is called Who Am I?
We all want to know that one.
Okay.
Who are you, Todd?
Let's play it. Here we go.
All right.
Who am I?
Donald Trump. That's going to be the answer.
Oh, my gosh. Can you shut up?
Oh, he's mad because I got it right.
Here we go. Who am I? Donald Trump is America's Hitler.
Told you. I told you the next thing he said was Donald Trump. Did I get it right? That's why he's mad. Donald Trump. Everything that comes out of his mouth is Donald Trump first.
Shut up.
I didn't need my crystal balls for that one,
You
Todd.
have to mute them so that I could do my thing. They won't stop. Never mind. What we're going to do is when they're not here, either before the show or after, I'm going to do these things. So, because they can't be here. Because this one is psychotic, and that one, that's a Guna, won't stop either. And so, and the other one just sits around and giggles all night because of his boy toy. I can't. And so I can't deal with them.
All right, go ahead, Todd. Do it. Do it real quick.
I can't.
Yes, go ahead.
Because
I got them all on mute. Go ahead. Who am I?
Now I have to go from the beginning.
All right.
Who am I? Donald Trump is America's Hitler. Donald Trump is a godsend. Donald Trump is exactly what America needs. America first. Who am I?
So now you're finished and people
Yeah, who am I? Yes, answer.
J.D. Vance.
Charles. King Charles. King Charles.
Who are you playing?
J.D. Vance.
Oh,
Smart Aguna.
What did he win?
I'll play another game next week, or I could do another one tonight. Ready?
What did he win? What did he win? A chance to the Diddy party?
Yeah, people can change their minds. Is the
Right. People can change their minds. When you get more facts, you can change your mind.
What did you say?
Like when you get DNA in a murder case, you got new DNA, you change your fact, you change the facts change.
Shut up. What did you say?
Vance said he changed his mind about it.
Oh, he changed
that was his
okay.
response.
Now, this is the thing. You can change your mind if you say, I don't think Trump is fair, or I'm not sure about Trump, but you cannot change your mind when you say Donald Trump is America's Hitler. That's extreme. So I tend not to believe them when they say things like that.
Go do the next one. Do the next one.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Who am I? We will not entertain a Supreme Court justice during an election year. We will not during an election year. We will
on some serious drugs. Give him 72 hours.
We will entertain a Supreme Court justice during an election year. As a matter of fact, we'll entertain a Supreme Court justice 4 weeks before the election. And who am I again?
Mitch McConnell.
America first.
Boy,
Boy, you smart, Aguna.
Aguna's getting them all.
Yeah. Boy, I'll have one every week.
He's the only one playing.
I'll have one or two every week. And the game is called Who Am I?
All right.
This
Good
is how
night.
sick these Republicans are talking out of both sides of their mouth. Wait a minute. One last one. Who am I? I'm a never Trumper. I'm a never Trumper. I hate Trump. He's a dictator. He wants to be a dictator. He's calling you stupid.
I love everybody.
When he says,
I do love everybody, and I was a never Trumper because I think for myself. I'm an independent thinker. How could a man come from New York and be a Democrat his whole life and then run for Republican? He did what he said he was going to do. Do I know he's all that? I don't. I do have my problems with him.
Why? He's a great Christian. He's a great Christian man.
Why did we blow?
He's going to save the world and he's going to save America, and I love him, and I've got no problem saying it. Who am I?
Your mama. You're your mama.
You walked into that one.
Oh gosh, that's how crazy.
I'm just messing with you, Todd. I don't mean it.
They go from one extreme to the other. I'm a never Trump. I don't want to be a dictator. Trump's calling you stupid. He
Trump,
said,
I called you Trump. Dude, just stay on one side. Don't think for yourself. Just be happy that they let you work inside, not in the field.
Bye, Felicia. Work in the field.